All right, friends, it's T-Man. We back with a new video again on Jason Blaha. We're going to do a reaction video to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness slave himself, Jason Blaha. Blaha says, how much protein do we really need for muscle growth? That's a stupid question, but okay.
All right, how much protein do we actually need to gain muscle? Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I thought I would chat.
Well, let's see. If our natural diet as humans is to eat animal products, how much protein do we need? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. See what I mean?
You guys and gals a little bit about this today. Now, I want to be very clear, the context of this video has nothing to do with metabolic.
He's like trying to tell you that you should limit yourself from your natural diet, how much you should eat. How much protein do we need? Out of what? Our natural diet as carnivores? Meat? What the hell?
Metabolic health, nothing to do with fat loss. It's not going to be about those things connected to.
Oh, I know. Because everybody out there is living a very artificial, fake life, eating fake food. Okay, so you want to limit yourself how much natural meat you're going to eat as a carnivore by eating plants. Is that it? So more plants and carbohydrates, like these drugs called carbohydrates, and then limit the amount of protein you're eating. Well, it's really a high nutrient diet. The protein is just what the muscle's made out of. Most people, if you really think about it, the Mongols and everything, they didn't really eat a lot of animal products. What they did was they took animals with them that were able to graze on grass and produce milk. They drank a lot of raw milk. I mean, growing up, I drank a lot of milk growing up. I drank a lot of milk, man. I think people don't realize that these people would have probably died if they didn't drink milk. If you didn't drink milk and you try to rely just on animal products, you'd probably be dead. I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Now, of course, we have refrigerators, modern world. We store stuff, whatever. But yeah, I would say the majority people were drinking a lot of raw milk. Okay, I don't know, and some animal products. They're eating animal products, but a majority of their diet probably was raw milk. I would say that. Okay, I'm pondering that. I don't know. You think about it for yourself.
Anything else? We are talking purely about muscle growth, and with a large body of evidence shows, meta-analysis, stuff looking at bodybuilders, everyone else. I personally use
raw milk relates to just about everything. Strong teeth, strong bones, everything, just everything, man. Think about it. It's like drinking the cow's blood, only in a different form, in the form of milk. See what I mean? You got hunters, they'll drink milk. They'll drink the blood of the animal, but really, the majority of what's coming out of the cow is the milk, right? They're producing milk. What are you drinking exactly? Well, it's kind of like the blood of the cow, only it's coming out in the form of milk. You know what I mean? It's got all the nutrients in there.
And often advocate much higher amounts of protein than this, okay? But we do need to be clear, there is zero evidence at this point, real evidence, and all the evidence suggests that the protein intakes are much lower than a lot of people in the industry talk about when it comes to gaining muscle. But I also want to be clear, I personally eat about double that amount. So let me just, again, for the sake of clarity,
He eats double that amount. I just eat what's natural, animal products, so I don't know about doubling the amount. I eat a lot. I don't really count how much I'm supposed to eat. Why am I supposed to eat less or something? What if I'm hungry?
Now eat about 300 grams. Okay. Now, that being said,
that makes absolutely no sense. I eat 300 grams. It's so stupid the fitness industry is. You, as a human, are carnivore. You eat meat, okay? And everybody does eat meat out there. Because if you didn't eat meat, you'd be dead, all right? Other than be drinking milk, okay? And your milk is putrid anyways because it's fucking pasteurized. Unless, of course, you live in a state where you could get raw milk. I don't know. So, the majority of kids growing up, they ate a lot of milk and cereal and milk, man. I mean, you can see it everywhere in the fitness industry. A lot of these guys, cereal and milk, cereal, whatever. They add the cereal because, I don't know why. Maybe it's not because the drugs. They're so addicted to sugar. They want sugar in their milk. Whatever, bro. I don't know what the hell he's talking about, limiting yourself from eating your natural diet.
When we look at all the evidence that's out there.
Oh, and the best one is you can only absorb 100 grams of protein. Yeah, but what about the nutrients that are inside the meat, right? Inside there, how much? And the nutrients that are inside the milk. Milk is protein, right? Okay, because it's from animals. So the nutrients that are inside, isn't that what your cells really want? See what I mean? I don't know about this protein stuff. That's like saying how much fiber should we eat? Well, you really shouldn't eat any fiber, but how much should you eat? Oh, should we only eat 50 grams of fiber, 100 grams of fiber? Meanwhile, you guys are eating fucking tons of fiber, way more than protein. See what I mean? That's why it's block. You got blockage there in your drainage system in your belly. You're shitting like cows, man. You're shitting like crazy.
The evidence is pretty clear.
Well, because you can't digest fucking fiber, dude, as a human.
That we don't see improvements in muscle growth itself, muscle gains, any of that stuff when we go over about 1.5 to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight.
You don't see any improvement because you need addition of these nuclei to synthesize protein. Science is not lying when they're telling you reached an MND size limit. To support further muscle growth, you need to have more of these nuclei, and it's beyond that. In the beginning of when you reach a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process, let's say the process is now in hypertrophy. I'll explain this one more time, man. People really gotta be dumb. A unique feature of untrained muscles, they get stiff and sore due to muscle damage the next day. So when you're untrained, you come into the gym, you get an overload of these nuclei. But during that hypertrophic process now that they've been donated and they hypertrophy, during that hypertrophic process, they reach a ceiling limit. Get it? Beyond where that satellite cell can keep donating. Like it can keep on donating its nuclei to do what? To support further muscle growth. You understand me? So what do you need to do? You need to get another adaptation. You get it? So you can get another donation of these nuclei so they can reach a ceiling limit during hypertrophic process. Duh.
Right, so you take someone like me who's about 93 kilograms.
Okay, so how much protein do you need? Now that you get this damage and you're going to hypertrophy these muscles and all this kind of stuff, right? They're going to build. How much protein do you need? Well, you need to be in a positive nitrogen balance. See what I mean? It's not about how much protein do I need? You need to be in a positive nitrogen balance, anabolic, during that time. Otherwise, you'll get an apoptosis. You'll lose muscle cells.
It's not very much protein. We're talking about 150 grams, right? Right? Do the math on it. Even 1.6. Now, when people say, well, I need an insurance policy there. Well, that is the insurance policy, meaning within the studies have looked at it a lot of times.
Look, if you get these nuclei to maximize their growth, you need to be in a positive nitrogen balance. So you need to eat a lot of animal products, a lot. You understand me?
Was lower. Okay, there was at least one study on bodybuilders where they found going over about 1.2, as long as they were consuming high quality protein, like there was whey and stuff in there, like 1.2 grams per kilo of body weight. All right, guys,
that makes absolutely no sense. Oh, they did this thing or study on these guys on whey protein. How much whey protein do I need to eat? Well, if you don't have any additional nuclei and there's no damage going on there, then how much protein do you need? Zero. At zero. You don't need anything, okay? You just need to eat enough so you're not starving. You're not building any muscle. You only build muscle in an adaptation. No adaptation, no muscle building. So you're just a lifting slave like Blaha here, lifting repetitively in the gym, talking about building muscles, but not actually building them. Yeah.
About 115 to 120 grams for someone my size.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean we should be eating the RDA. People say, are you saying the RDA? No, that's at least double the RDA. So when you look at stuff like the RDA, it isn't enough to maximize muscle growth.
You want to know what Neanderthals are? Neanderthals are you. That's who they are. They're you. They're you in nature. Now, this is you now as a Neanderthal, as, how should I put it, domesticated animal in this garage. See Blaha here? This is what he looks like in the garage as a domesticated animal. He's weak. They all believe they're weak because they're not in nature. Think about it. A pig, a boar, when they capture it, they bring it in on the farm. They domesticate it. What happens? The tusks fall off. The hair falls off. They become fat, and they lose their muscularity. Yeah, that's what happens. So Blaha, he's trying to do it artificially by lifting weights. He's trying to return to being a Neanderthal. Yeah, muscularly big and strong. That's how Neanderthals were big and strong and huge because they lived out in nature. Yeah, man. You understand me? They had higher testosterone, more muscle, and all that because they lived out in nature. They were doing specific things. They were eating specific things and doing specific things. But the problem with Blaha is he's so domesticated because he's eating tofu. He eats artificial food, rice with arsenic, and a bunch of weird stuff. And this is not based on what they were doing in nature, lifting heavy weights in a garage. You understand me? The way they slept, where they slept, out in nature, where they lived, what they did, what they drank, the water they drank was obviously groundwater, mineralized water. Man, what's he drinking? Tap water recycled 1 billion times from the city? I mean, come on, think about it. The milk that he drinks, what's that milk? What is it? Cyanide milk filled with what? Fucking cashews or some shit? I don't know. The pasteurized milk, it's all garbage. It's all garbage. That's why you're domesticated. They do not want to feed you anything raw because they know that you'll become undomesticated and they can't control you, society. That's the whole point. You'll become super strong and built. This is a sign of weakness to lift a heavy weight. People that lift heavy weights are actually really weak because they built no physical strength, physical, cellular adaptations.
Okay, so we do need to be clear. The reality is you have most people in the fitness industry and people, again, due to supplements and stuff, are often recommended that 1 gram or more per
Watching this guy is really funny.
pound of body weight. Well, that's about 2.2 grams per kilo. So again, someone like me has 200 plus grams. RDA would be something like 60 to 70.
Yes, I'm gonna count. I need 2.2 per gram per body weight. I need to count how much protein I'm getting. Whatever.
The reality is about 150. Do you see kind of the difference there? It's almost in between those two extremes.
Maybe you should tell that to people that lived out in nature. Hey man, you should only eat 2.2 whatever grams per body weight of protein. They'll be looking at you and say, "What the fuck you talking about, dude?" Tell that to the Eskimos and everybody else out there in cold climates. You only need to eat this much, dude.
It's almost between those two extremes. It's not.
Look, they're not even lifting for adaptations. He doesn't lift for adaptations. He's just lifting slave, getting skinny.
Like we're talking about the RDA is correct. And I want people to be clear. When you think about the 1 gram per pound of body weight, does that even sound like a scientific measurement?
That sounds like something to domesticate you. That's what it sounds like. Okay, keep you domesticated. That's why you're there in the garage, balding, just looking like a lesser half of your ancestral being. Yes.
Someone literally took the U.S. system with pounds and then went over to metric in terms of grams and just decided it's a 1-to-1. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I want people to think about that. That was just made up. That was made up, and it's based on the fact that we know that muscles are made out of protein. But what people aren't factoring.
Oh, that was made up. Muscles are made up of protein. Your whole body is made up of protein. So are your bones and everything else. What is he talking about?
Yeah, with any of that, that's made up, number one. Number two, yeah, we've always known eating more protein helps muscle growth. but it was figuring out how much, and this is why there have been dozens and dozens of studies, including on Olympic lifters, power lifters, bodybuilders, strength athletes, university football players and rugby players, and all these things, right? This is where a lot of these studies have been conducted on, trying to find those numbers and back. Studies have been conducted on trying to find those numbers and dial it in, because this is valuable for sports.
Yeah.
Okay? So,
Oh, this is so valuable for sports.
they've looked at it closely, but what people aren't thinking about is, yes, muscles are made of protein, but you're not gaining that much muscle a day. And even like Menzer and some other people were pointing this.
They're made up of nutrients, man. They're made up of protein and nutrients. Okay, dude? That's what they're made up of. Think about it. What are you doing? Why do you need fiber if you can't absorb it? If you can't absorb it, you can't do anything with it other than shit it out. Then what are you doing with it? You notice when you eat just protein and your acids are working properly in your stomach, you don't shit a lot. You pee, but you don't shit a lot. Why is that? Because it dissolves in the acid, the protein. Now, what about fiber? No, it doesn't. That's why you're shitting like a cow. You're shitting and you need toilet paper all day. You're funding an industry. You're funding a whole industry. Toilet paper, toothbrush, toothpaste, doctor's office, fucking pharmacy, whatever. The dentist, orthodontist, whatever. You're funding a whole industry. Soap, underarm deodorant, perfumes, whatever, you name it, bro. You are funding an entire industry when you start eating fiber. Yeah, hooray.
About 20, over 30 years ago, right? They're like, look, guys, I mean,
Don't forget mental illness as well. Psychologist, psychiatrist, everything. You name it, bro. It just goes on forever.
if you think about the amount of muscle you can gain in a day, it's only a couple grams of protein.
Yes, how much muscle can you gain in a day? So every day he's gaining muscles. Look how big Jason Blaha is.
Right?
If your body could just gain muscle by just going like this, lifting this weight repetitively and eating protein, then you'd be already massive in 1 or 2 months. Yeah.
It's only a couple grams of protein. So what we're looking at with the muscle growth, it is not about, hey, I eat more protein, there's more available to gain muscle. That's literally not what it is.
Again, if any of you people want to gain muscle, you need to shoot for an adaptation. Get it? That's what you need to shoot for, an adaptation. No adaptation, zero muscle growth.
Because you would only need to eat like half a slice of bread. People say, well, that's low bioavailability. Yeah, but okay, so a full slice of bread.
I'm talking about real muscle, not fake sarco muscles. If you want that, then keep coming in like him, an endurance athlete, and eat a lot of carbs. He's already talking about bread. Bread is poisonous.
Like literally a full slice of bread has enough bioavailable.
Think about it. You want to eat bread and then lift weights in the gym? You want to eat artificial, toxic, nasty carbohydrate, nasty foods that are unhealthy and then go lift in the gym? How can that be healthy for you?
Protein in it to maximize the amount you're going to use for muscle growth. But what we're looking at is eating more protein. It's not about building more because of the extra protein you're eating. It's not about the building, it's about the breakdown. Okay?
Oh, it's not about the building, it's about the breakdown. Well, you're breaking down more now because you're lifting. Throughout the day, you're building up and breaking down, but because you're lifting, there's a window for breakdown. So you need to restore it, put it back, right? So that's what you're doing. Going to the gym, and then you're spending more money on food. You're spending a lot of money on gym membership. You're spending more money on eating food and you're a bunch of stuff, bro. It's this crazy, accelerate aging. So you're gonna go and spend more money on food to do what? To put back the protein that you lost. Okay.
That's why it's kind of exacting and why it varies a little bit from person to person. Because when we're talking about muscle growth from eating extra protein, right, your body cycles about 300 to 400 grams of its own protein every day. Like it breaks down in your various muscle tissues, mostly organs, other things. It has a pool of protein that it breaks down and recycles. And it's literally like 300-400 grams every single 24 hours.
Yeah.
That it recycles, reuses, does all this stuff with enzymes, because all of these enzymes and everything in your body.
It does do
protein,
that.
right? Your DNA is protein, everything.
Yeah.
It's all amino acids. So it cycles through a lot of these things. But when we're
Yeah, especially when you're adapted, it cycles through this. Yes.
increasing protein intake, it reduces protein breakdown, particularly protein breakdown from training.
Okay. It reduces protein breakdown, especially from training. And what about it? What about it?
Protein breakdown for exercise. Okay, all right, we're going somewhere with this.
Okay, where are we going?
Breaking down muscle
Where are we going?
protein actually is not helpful to muscle growth. This has been looked at closely too. That's an outdated hypothesis.
No, really? Of course it's not. That's why if you truly want to build muscle, you should just go to the gym for an adaptation. That's it. That's the only time you should lift is when you're shooting for an adaptation. You shouldn't lift any more than that.
It was a theory. It's been looked at like, yeah, it doesn't seem to
It's not a theory, man. It's a known fact if you have experience as a lifter.
actually be helpful. It's not good. So by consuming more protein, we give our body more net available protein to utilize when it needs to break proteins down and do things. It tends to
Think about it. How do you maintain muscle? It's really simple. You don't go to the gym to maintain muscles. You go there and you get an adaptation, and that will maintain it, because if you were to lose muscle, you need a new adaptation to regain it back. See what I mean?
cut less into your muscle tissue, tends to break it down less. Okay, therefore, do you see where we're going?
You'll also be stronger. The more adaptations you can occur, the stronger you shall get. Yeah.
The net effect is more accumulation of muscle protein. Okay, and it's not huge differences. So when we talk about going, if you look at those numbers and what if I ate 80 or 90 grams and then went up to the 150, it would be a fairly small difference.
Oh, brother.
But small differences add up. You know, it might only be 20% more muscle growth, but 20% more muscle growth plotted over 6 months or a year or 5 years is a hell of a lot. So
What is he going on about? If you're building muscle, it happens really fast. It can happen in a short period of time because you're shooting for adaptations.
So yes, it does matter.
It isn't about staying there lifting for 10 years because you want to lift because you want to lift for no reason, just because you want to break down proteins and build them up again.
It absolutely matters. If we're
That
trying
absolutely makes no sense. That's why I brought out the campaign, the slave campaign, the lifting slave, the gym slave campaign, bro.
to optimize it, but we also need to be clear that that number is lower than people think. Now, we can get into a lot of other stuff with protein
I would call him the adapted slave. That's what he is.
overfeeding, protein overfeeding, and fat loss.
Okay, protein overfeeding, fat loss, protein overfeeding, fat loss. If you're on your natural carnivore diet, you're going to lose all kinds of fat and any garbage weight you're carrying. It's kind of obvious. You're not going to store any of it.
Now, those areas, this is where mega loading protein, like you're just trying to get really ripped, jacking your protein way up.
Yeah, don't eat any plants or carbs. Don't eat any sugar. Don't eat any of that. Be on your natural diet. Of course, you're going to be lean and muscular.
It can help.
That's part of the domesticating process. Putting you on these plant foods, you become all plumpy and fat. Everybody's fat around when they walk around. They're smooth and fatty. They're not muscular, lean, and sexy. They're fat and ugly. They have moon faces, fat faces, and they're all complaining why nobody likes them or women are not attracted to them, and a whole bunch of stuff because you're eating carbs, dude. It makes you ugly.
There's evidence.
It has domesticated you. Again, look at the pig and look at the boar. The boar goes out, he runs out back in nature, grows tusks. He's got a real muscular body and hair. Yeah.
Of that. But as far as getting bigger, no. And if you're in a calorie surplus, no, the food itself is even more protein sparing. You actually
See, the so-called you being out in nature, you would get an adaptation. What you're going to do is you're going to hunt periodically. So if you hunt periodically, you're going to get adaptations. They're going to keep coming and going, these adaptations. You may run down a hill, you may get an adaptation in your legs, a bunch of stuff. So Yeah, I mean, you're going to get these adaptations because it's based more on periodic. You're going to hunt periodically. You're not going to hunt every single day. But you're going to hunt periodically for sure in nature. That's really how it works. That's what's going to get you out of this domesticated state, the adaptation process. He's adapted. He's not getting any more adaptations. That's why all you guys are fucking domesticated. And then you're like, I gotta take steroids. Steroids aren't building you muscles. They're not doing nothing. They're building you fake muscles though. They're not gonna undomesticate you steroids. They'll give you a cosmetic look. It's plants. You're injecting plant hormones in you. But as long as you take those drugs, then that shit will show up. But you gotta keep taking it. If you stop taking it, bye bye. Like I said, if you want to undomesticate yourself, you have to do things. You have to get these adaptations, and you have to eat natural food, which is really hard for people. Natural meaning raw animal products. You have to stop eating cooked, and you have to stop eating these plants and whatever processing your food.
You probably need even less, right? You probably need even less. Again, we come over to sparing protein from hard activity and exercise is why we need those higher amounts. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that
Thank God that's all he has to say.
today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to
Very
you
informative.
guys and gals next time.
Very informative, Blaha. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next one.